Before we get into the topics I want to get into today,
Yes.
I'm going to give you a chance at a do-over.
Ooh.
You've had a week to ruminate on your
I can't wait.
scalding hot take that the Milwaukee Bucks should hold on to Giannis Antetokounmpo. You've had a week to let that simmer and settle and digest. And now that a week has passed, and you've seen a lot of people weighing in on this in the last week, are you sticking by your guns that holding on to Giannis and getting your butt kicked in the first round of the 2026 playoffs is better for the health of the Bucks franchise than trading him for whatever treasure trove of draft picks Rafael Stone is sitting down on Houston
Or Sam
waiting
Presti.
Well, we'll get to Presti if they get bounced
Or
in
Greg
the second round.
Popovich, sure.
Yeah, or whoever, any of the 2 or 3 teams that are out there.
Or the deluded Lakers fans who think they have enough to get him.
Is your mind changed at all in the last week about the future of Giannis?
Hardly. Hardly, Chris Mannix.
I gave
in fact,
you a chance.
I am deeper in. Look, I have said this a bunch of times. I'm speaking directly to you people. If Giannis wants a trade, you have to trade him because he has done so much for the franchise. He's been there for a dozen years. He got you a title. This is not the circumstances anyone could have foreseen, and he deserves to continue his career the way he wants to. And to your point, they will be able to get a lot for him. So it's not even like he would be leaving the franchise in such a lurch. It would take them, 10, 15 years to dig out of it. However, if he does not come to you to ask to be traded, there is no question to me that you have to take stock, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, and say, you know what? We're not going to get past the first round with Giannis in the 2026 playoffs. We're not going to get past the first round with a bunch of draft picks sitting on the general manager's log, on John Hurst's log for the 2026 playoffs. So to pretend that you can trade him and do better in the next 2-3 years is a false narrative. That is not what we are talking about. The only thing we are talking about is, will Giannis leaving now put the franchise in the position to maybe in 5 years, when all those draft picks are picked and then start to develop, maybe start to make it past the first round of the NBA playoffs. And by the way, there is no guarantee that that's going to happen. You are not going to pick in the teens and develop someone into Giannis Antetokounmpo again. That is not going to happen for you. That is a once-in-a-lifetime for a franchise shot. So you have to ask yourselves, you are in a business trying to get fans and sponsors to buy things, right? Buy tickets, buy sponsorships, etc. Are you going to have an easier or harder time doing that with Giannis Antetokounmpo on the floor and the team not having title hopes than the team not having title hopes but having whoever on the floor?
Okay. That was a bad take last week, and it remains a crazy take this week.
You're wrong.
Next year.
You're wrong.
Next year, the Bucks will be lucky to hit 500.
Thank you.
Like Damian Lillard is
you mean
gone.
now, as constructed?
As constructed. No. I'm not taking your side.
But by the way, they play in the East, so just work that into.
Correct. But they were the 4 seed this year with Giannis and with Dame.
Calling up the Eastern Conference standings.
Without Dame and an Achilles injury, even though we're in the modern medicine era, that is still among the top 2 or 3 hardest injuries to quickly come back from. So Damian Lillard to me is not part of the equation next year. The roster that they have and their inability to make improvements guarantees you a 500 record. And then you're going into what would be the last year of Giannis's contract, where even if he doesn't say, give me a trade, unless he says, here's my name on an extension, then you're trading him anyway. Then you're trading him regardless. This is one of those years. This is like we joke.
Or not, by the way. When LeBron was in his final year in Cleveland, and obviously a different scenario because they made the finals.
Yeah. It's LeBron's Cleveland, yeah.
Okay, but he asked for them to make a move for that Nets pick that they had that was so valuable. He wanted them to trade it so that he could get help immediately because Kyrie had already left.
Yep.
And he knew he could get this team to the finals but not win it, right? He knew that matching up against the Warriors in 2018 was not going to do it with the group that they had. And even getting to the finals was hard work. And they decided, We want to be set up. We don't want to be like when LeBron left us the first time. We want to be set up for the future. We know he's out of here after this year. We can all tell, and we want to be set up. How many years did it take them to, it looks like, lose in the second round? That was 2018. This is 2025. That was 7 years later. Sometimes you have to say, we have a generational player on our team. We want that to last as long as possible. And then we will rebuild however we can rebuild. And if he is going to give you the chance to keep him, again, if Giannis wants to leave, the Bucks should trade him because he deserves that and they could get stuff for him. However, if he is not coming to you and saying, I want to leave, there is value in having him on the floor for that franchise. And I will say again, this implication that if you tear it all down and rebuild, you are on your path to a title is not true. It's not true. I look at teams, by the way, the Phoenix Suns, they've been in business for 50 plus years. They have never won an NBA championship.
And they're well on their way to not doing it for the next 5 to 10 at least.
Exactly. You are proving my point.
I think we're seeing things differently.
The Kings, 60 plus years.
Yes.
The Atlanta Hawks, the Kings are 70 plus years.
Yes.
The Hawks are 60 plus years. And the team I grew up with, I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. You know when the last time they made a conference finals? Not a title, not making it to the finals, not winning a conference finals. The last time they even made it to the conference finals was 46 years ago. They haven't gotten out of the second round for 46 years, and they had Michael Jordan on their team at one point. And I know it was not Bulls Michael Jordan, but I'm making a point for emphasis. But look, there is no way you can guarantee me that if I trade Giannis of my own volition, when he doesn't even ask to be traded, that in the next 5, 10, 15 years, you have a title contender.
Yeah, but you want to get into a De'Aaron Fox situation, an Anthony Davis situation where you don't really, I mean, Davis kind of asked for a trade, but like you don't ask for a trade, but you are saying I'm not going to sign an extension, which has the same effect.
You have 2 more years of Giannis. And then
and
you
you're
deal
gonna
with it.
suck next year.
Great. You're going to suck next year if you trade him for
but at least when you
non-playing
suck,
draft picks.
There's hope. Look, the people who tend to agree with you, the YouTube commenters, I've seen some of them, like they agree with you. They want whatever.
My people.
It doesn't matter.
My
I am not the mob mentality here. I think if you have a chance to get Jalen Green and all of Phoenix's draft capital, you position yourself to win down the line. If you have a chance to get Jalen Williams and all of Oklahoma City's draft capital.
Jalen Green showed you enough during this
I
last
think Jalen
series
Green
that
can be a number 2.
he's the one leading you to the promised land?
No. But I think he can be a good number 2.
Okay.
Jalen Green's not built to be
and who's the
number
number 1?
You find him later. Use one of these draft picks down the line.
Great.
Phoenix.
Find him later.
Find them later. You're not going to win.
That's my argument. Find them later.
You have 2. You were saying you're okay with 2 years of mediocrity. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills talking about Giannis here. 2 years of mediocrity.
Wait. Tell me how it's going to be different if you have the next 2 years and you've traded Giannis.
Hope.
If you am a fan of the Milwaukee Bucks, I am more interested in going to see Giannis Antetokounmpo play than I am in the vague hope
this is
that maybe
loser Wizards fan mentality you have right here.
This is the mentality. Look, you're coming from a Boston Celtics life where Danny Ainge could wave his magic little fingers and somehow on the other end of the phone
he's doing the same stuff with Utah.
GMs do. Yes, I have had several front office people around the league over the years being like, I don't even answer the phone when Danny calls anymore just to protect myself.
Good. Then they're losers too. Like be able to win trades. All right, just do better on deals.
My point is not everyone is the Boston Celtics. They're just not.
Well, how about the Oklahoma City Thunder, which won 68 games this year?
The Oklahoma City Thunder lucked in to a situation where the Kawhi Leonard wanted Paul George, of all people.
Yes.
He could have wanted someone else. And then the Oklahoma City Thunder would not have the setup that they're having. Possibly the Bucks could get a tremendous amount of luck, the way the Lakers did this year with Luka, the way that the Thunder did with Paul George. But the truth is, you're sitting here saying the next 2 years will be mediocre. Guess what? The next 2 years, if you trade for draft picks, will be mediocre, but no Giannis.
They'll be bad.
Okay, great. No Giannis getting you into the building. This is not the strategy that I would advise for every team, right? There are teams that obviously we know the Phoenix Suns need to tear it down. And you and I both now agree they need to trade Devin Booker and start over.
And
Devin Booker is not Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No.
He is not. Giannis is one of certainly one of the best players of his generation, and he will be on the all-time list in somewhere. He is an MVP. He is defensive player, right? He's defensive player of the year at one point.
It was, yeah.
Yes. He is also connected to that community in a way that we have seen few athletes connect, especially in a smaller
It's
market.
not an after-school special here, though. Like, you connect to the community. Like, who cares?
What's
The community
the-
will get connected to the next guy.
What's the
They'll
point?
Connect to the
What, to draft pick number 3?
How about Jalen Williams? I think Jalen Williams could turn out to be the next James Harden. And I say it in a positive way. We'll get
You
to
say
James
that
Harden
after
in a moment. I'll
game
say that-
one?
Get to that in a moment. I don't, we're reliving this again. I could do this all day long with you.
Right.
But
Look, I just think that,
my thing
yes.
is like, if you're the Bucks front office, you need to be able to sniff desperation. The Celtics sniffed desperation when they dealt with Brooklyn. The Thunder sniffed desperation when they dealt with the Clippers. If Houston, if Oklahoma City, if San Antonio, if anybody is out there with desperation, is willing to make you the kind of deal that Boston got, that Oklahoma City got, you got to take it. And look, those aren't deals. Like Oklahoma City that was a good deal at the time, but not a great deal because we didn't know that Shea was going to be Shea. The Boston deal was, I don't know what that was at the time because we didn't know that the Nets were going to implode and be as bad as they were. I mean, nobody thought they'd be giving up Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum there on those picks.
And by the way, Danny Ainge again with the wizardry of trade me your number 1 pick for the number 3 pick, and we'll get Jason Tatum out of the deal instead of Markelle Fultz.
Sniff desperation.
You don't think
like
there's going to be desperate teams next summer? How many years have you been covering this league? How many decades? You don't think there's going to be desperate people
Good.
next
If there
summer?
is, make a deal. I don't care if Giannis wants to stay or not. Make a deal. You have a conversation with him, and you don't deal him someplace he says, hell no, but you make a deal. That's just my take on it.
We're not all Boston Celtics
and we'll be back
fans
next week doing the exact same
argument. That's fine. I can have this argument all day, Chris Mannix.
All right.